what's up guys, it's Jess. Welcome back to my channel. First I would like to address the situation going on my face. I have one dot here, one dot here, and one dot here, and it just kind of forms like a line, which I think is, pretty interesting, pretty unique. Today's video is going to be all about getting involved in undergraduate research and also some ways in which you can strengthen your resume. When I was trying to decide which college I wanted to go to, one of my high school teachers told me that the one thing I should look for the most was the availability of undergraduate research. This is definitely a major reason why I chose to commit to the University of Washington. The University of Washington is really well funded in terms of research, so there are a bunch of opportunities going on throughout the school year. I personally started undergraduate research my sophomore year. I know some people who started earlier, but a majority of people start within their junior and senior years. I recommend you get involved in undergraduate research as soon as possible because there are so many benefits as to why. I do research that allows me to strengthen my skills in various coding languages such as Python and MATLAB and Excel, Unix, stuff like that. Another benefit of doing undergraduate research, and especially doing undergraduate research early, is that you get to put it on your resume. I would say that one of my favorite benefits of undergraduate research is that you get to develop more personal connections with the faculty members that you're working with. Most of the time, your letter of recommendation is probably going to have to come from a faculty member, and it's super difficult to ask a professor that's teaching like a 300-person lecture to write your letter of recommendation because they probably don't know you on that deeper personal connection to the point where they can write you a really solid letter. So now I'm going to get into how to get involved in undergraduate research. First, I'm going to talk about my experience with astronomy and physics, and then I will get into more of the general searching for research. So fall quarter of my sophomore year, I took this course called Astro 192. Astro 192 is a course designed for students pursuing the astronomy major and are looking to get involved in some type of research. The first part of the class teaches you basic skills in Unix and Python. The second part of the class is where you're assigned a research mentor and you get to work on research and then present it at the end of the quarter. If you are pursuing the astronomy major at the University of Washington, I highly recommend you take Astro 192 as a stepping stone to get involved in undergraduate research. This is how I got my first research position. Was after the class, I reached out to my research mentor and asked him, hey, I really loved what we were doing. Is there any way I can continue this type of research? And luckily for me, there was a spot for me, so I was able to continue research that I'm still doing to this day. In case anyone's wondering what the type of research is that I do in the astronomy field, I categorize the habitability of exoplanets. So that's how I got involved in astronomy research, and I'm also involved in physics research. During my sophomore year, I also took this class called Physics 294. Physics 294 is a seminar required for physics majors to learn more about the different types of research going on at the University of Washington. I thought a lot of the presentations were super interesting. It's just that I didn't personally connect with a lot of the physics that was going on until I got to one of these presentations near the end of the quarter. This specific presentation was about ocean physics at the UW's Applied Physics Laboratory, and I was so invested in learning more. If I wasn't already double majoring in astronomy and physics, I probably would have added on oceanography or marine biology. Immediately after the presentation, I reached out to the guest speaker via email. I introduced myself and shared how interested I was in this type of research and sent him my resume. And this led to me securing another research position at the University of Washington in the physics field. And the type of research I do there is understanding the tides with an astronomical focus. So as told by these two stories, I was able to get involved in undergraduate research by taking classes like Astro 192 and Physics 294. I don't know if there are specific research seminars for the different majors, but I'm assuming there are. So if there are, I really recommend you take one of these courses because it just kind of makes it easier to reach out to someone to get involved in research. Either way, I wouldn't have gotten the research positions I have today if I didn't take the initial step to reach out to these people. So even if you don't take these courses, that's totally fine, but it's on you to take that initiative to get involved in the research that you want to do at the UW. I recommend doing a simple internet search and looking at the types of research done at UW and specifically what faculty member is working on that type of research. Whenever you find the faculty member that is doing the type of research that you want to be involved in, that's when you reach out to them via email. I recommend introducing yourself, so this includes your name, your year, what majors you are in or are pursuing. And then I would recommend that you tell them how interested you are in the type of research that they do and would like to get involved in any current or future opportunities. You can also attach your resume to this first email, and again, I don't know if this is email etiquette or if other people would disagree with sending your resume within the first email. I personally would. I don't see a problem with it, but again, that might not be what's best. I don't know. Either way, regardless if you include your resume or not, be sure to thank them for their time, that you are looking forward to hearing back from them soon, and then, sincerely, whoever. Most of the time, you're probably going to get an email back, but it may not be the response you were hoping for. For example, let's say someone you really wanted to work with said, "Hi, sorry, we don't have any spots available right now." That is totally fine and nothing to worry about. Even if there might not be any positions available at the moment, that is not to say that they won't be available in the future, and luckily you already reached out to them, told them how interested you were, so in case they're looking for a researcher in the future, they can be like, "Oh yeah, I remember that person," and now it's the perfect timing to bring them on board. And if you don't want to rely on the fact that they will remember you, that's totally reasonable, so I would recommend reaching out to them the following quarter and seeing what they have available. By the way, if you search up undergraduate research, UW, there is a database on this site where you can look at current research going on at the University of Washington. You can also attend an undergraduate research info session in case you have more specific questions as to how to get involved in research. That's pretty much all I have to say in terms of taking that first step to getting involved in research, but now I'm going to be talking about your resume and how to really strengthen it to make yourself a strong candidate for this research position. So I thought my resume was pretty good when I was applying to colleges my senior year, and now I'm looking at my current resume and I'm like, oh gosh, there's a significant difference, a significant improvement, which is great. So I'm going to share with you some of my tips that I've learned. I personally use this site called Overleaf, which has a bunch of resume templates, and it makes the whole process so much easier. The general resume is between 1 to 2 pages, and you're really not supposed to go anywhere over that. So that's why it's super important to make sure that everything on there is valuable and applicable to what you're applying for. That's a problem that I had when I was trying to write a resume. It wasn't that I was lacking activities, it's that I had too much, and I couldn't fit it all on my resume. Also, all of it wasn't super relevant to what I was gonna do. So what I've learned from that experience of condensing my resume is that I should be prioritizing activities that are going to truly strengthen my resume. For example, I spent so many hours my freshman and sophomore year working part-time jobs that had nothing to do with astronomy and physics. Yes, I could push it to say, oh, these taught me communication skills and whatnot. But in reality, this had nothing to do with the field that I wanted to go into, so I think it would have been difficult for these future employers to see, oh, she's super passionate about astronomy and physics, but none of the activities she does in life revolve around that. That's not to say that you can't have, different activities that aren't necessarily related to what you want to pursue. I would say that it just definitely helps to have experience related to what you want to do. So looking at my resume, the way I lay it out is an objective statement, my education, work experience, academic experience, related coursework, skills, extracurriculars, and then additional activities and achievements. You probably don't need an objective statement. I just choose to include one, so I make it very clear what I'm applying for. That's very, very optional, and if you're trying to save space on your resume, you probably don't need it. So for me, as a college student, I just put the University of Washington in that education category. I put my expected graduation date. I also put my GPA, not my quarterly GPA, but my cumulative GPA. And I also state how many times I've received Dean's List, and I specifically state the quarters, so summer 2020, autumn 2020, winter 2021, etc. I really recommend putting related coursework on your resume, especially if you don't have a lot of experience in what you want to do. When I was trying to craft my resume for my freshman year of college, I didn't have these physics and astronomy research positions yet, so I thought, okay, how am I supposed to get these STEM-related, positions if I don't have any relevant experience? But coursework is relevant experience. Another category is skills, and this is where I address how many coding languages I know and also how proficient I am in these languages. For extracurricular activities, put whatever is most valuable to the thing you're applying for. Same thing goes for additional activities and achievements. You don't have to tell them your whole entire life and everything you've ever done up until the point you're applying for this job. So I just really recommend including what's most relevant so that those things stand out. I truly think that the resume I have now is the best that it's ever been, and the reason why is because I have edited this thing multiple times, and it has been peer reviewed. I've gone to my advisor's office hours multiple times to craft this resume. I went to the Undergraduate Writing Center to get more feedback. So somewhere in your drafting process, I really recommend you seek out some type of peer review so that you're able to get the feedback and... Dude, Bailey, do you see I'm recording a YouTube video? Thank you. If you guys have any more specific questions related to resume writing, feel free to let me know. I'm a writing tutor, so I can definitely help you out. Or if you just search up University of Washington resume help, it should eventually lead you to this site where I found a lot of valuable information as to how to craft my resume and really strengthen it. If you guys have any more questions or video ideas for me, again, feel free to leave that in the comment section down below. A very exciting announcement for me is that I will be moving back to Washington in the summer, and I have so many video ideas planned related to the University of Washington, and I'm so excited for you all to see them, so stay tuned. I will see you guys in my next video.